Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. What's up, G's? Who was here first? I think the first message was Moana on Kick. Oh, nice. We're getting a lot of people on X. If you guys are watching on X, you should switch over to Kick because you can start collecting points and you can enter the giveaways that way. And you should follow on Kick because then you get notified when I go live. What's up, clown? I love your name, man. Every time I read your name, because you comment on my things, man, I think somebody's like using the clown emoji and like insulting me. You know what I mean? Every single time I see it, I'm like, oh, another hater. How do you switch to Kick? Kick.com/dumbmoneyhunter. You'll collect points and then you get free accounts the more you watch. YouTube, you can enter the giveaways, but there's no points on the YouTube. Kick is the main one. You can still enter the giveaways on YouTube, though. You're expecting to see the POTUS soon. Yeah, so he's speaking later today. So the markets are a little bit, oh, they finally filled that, what the heck? They finally filled that level. They've just been stagnating all day.
Next guys, join Hunter Discord so you get the link to join for Kick.
Yeah, if you join the Discord, it should be somewhere, I don't know, on my profile or something somewhere. I don't have a vanity URL for the DMC Discord, unfortunately. Right, so yeah, the 4 hour is relatively bearish. This is rejected off of nothing, by the way. This is the actual level I wanted to enter on, but when they failed to make a new low, I had entered here, right? So we're looking for that rebound there. If it breaks down here, then I'll close it out. As for, let me just, I gotta upload a file here. It's done now. And then we got the funded account here too with 1400 drawdown. So we're just doing minimums right now. It's a little bit of you know, the day might be a little weird because so much news. There's like so much uncertainty with the Fed speaking and then Trump speaking this evening, so people might just be waiting. You know, and then whoever the fuck this is too, but that's Canada, so it doesn't matter. Governor Malcolm, who cares? Who cares about Canada? So ideally, we'd like to see a bounce off that, right? Even 15. That's the actual level I wanted to enter on. So this is the ideal case from before. They just like front ran it, so I entered on the retest here, just in case it ran up. Day of doing nothing. Well, most days are kind of doing nothing. Check, 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 check. No, we still here. Maven Futures is coming. We're not working on futures right now. We had started a while back, but then we wanted to pull back to make sure that the futures market was safe. Like we didn't want to see the same thing that happens in the FX market, where everyone ran in and then destroyed themselves. We've been doing something else. That should be out soon, within the next couple months. That's going to be really awesome. Thanks for reposting the streams. Nice. Hey, yeah, if you're on X, I'm seeing a lot of people on X. You should jump over to Kick. It's the best place to get the giveaways, okay? Kick and YouTube, you can get giveaways. Maven's going to synthetic. No, bro. We won't be doing synthetics. But we've been working on something that doesn't. It'll be really fun. It'll be really fun. What do I expect from Powell tonight? I honestly don't know. I'm not that much into fundamentals, and I was just talking to Nick on the Maven podcast. Actually, and he was breaking down some stuff, but you know, he's predicting a scenario of stagflation, right? Which is, if I remember, I don't remember what stagflation is. What is stagflation? I just look at the charts, bro. Stagflation. There's a lot of terms and I get confused. Inflation, but slow growth, and then unemployment. Yeah, okay. So the economy, there's inflation, but the economy is not doing well, so because of employment rates down, right? So you can just go, what does that mean for the stock market, right? And you can just Google it and it'll tell you. Stock performed worse during stagflation at other times, you know, but not statistically significant, therefore historically, you know, kept on pace. So it doesn't do much for the stock market. I think I might have put a second order here. No, just barely missed it. That's all right. I'm perfectly fine if it rallies up anywhere in here. It looks like they're rallying it up on the 15 close, right? Which ideally we want it to close right there, right? What I want to be doing today is I'll be done. I'm not going to be open. I'm not going to have any trades by the time Powell comes on. I'm not going to trade that. There's no point. That's what I suggest you guys do too. And to trade at 6 p.m. is just insane.
Fundamental research
means there will be nothing to fear. What he's going to say. I mean, Powell could say anything and then just destroy the market. So overall, the market is pretty inflated for the conditions, right? Nick was talking about how, unemployment is not as important right now because AI is taking a lot of jobs, right? So unemployment going up is not necessarily as big of a concern as it used to be. You know what I mean? Because companies are still performing well because of AI, right? So all of their growth is based off of AI, right? Everything's based out of tech now, right? So the tech space is doing super well, right? So maybe other spaces, that require physical workers, like, I don't know, Home Depot or something, I don't know, like they might not do as well, but the tech space is going to do super well because they have all this AI stuff. So you might see divergence if you just think about it. You might see a divergence between the NASDAQ and the ES, right? And the ES is more just regular stocks, I suppose, and the NASDAQ is all tech. So AI is going to really outperform, the NASDAQ, and we can probably see that. We could probably just estimate like the performance, from the bottom really from this last push up, right? We've got 36% on the ES, and this is 50% or something crazy, right? Yeah, 47%, right? So ES does usually perform worse, but I imagine if we're getting a dip down, we can see. Let's just see how much did this dip here. 26%. Let's just see if there's any sort of divergence, right, between the two. Like this is so much closer. 22% drop, 26%, very similar, but the growth side is so much more on the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ is outperforming, but not really crashing. It's basically crashing the same, but super outperforming the ES. So you're seeing that divergence going into the tech space where everything's converting to AI, right? So unemployment's really affecting the ES more than the NASDAQ. So if you want to be a bull, you get into the NASDAQ, right? If you want to be a bear, you go into the ES, right? So you can simply use things like that, right? Simple logic. Not much difference. Yeah, not too much difference, right? Am I bullish on Powell's speech? I have no personal opinion on the speech. I won't be trading that personally because I don't like sitting around on speeches where I don't have any any indication of what it's going to say. For the FOMC, I traded the FOMC, right? What was that, like last whatever it was, Wednesday here? Where was it? Is this it? Thursday. This is Tuesday. Where was the FOMC? Wednesday something or other. Wait, I'm gonna go 4 hour. Maybe 1 hour. And I'll tell you why I traded the FOMC. Wednesday. No, that's too far back, right? Where are we? Was this must have been the FOMC, right? That had to have been it, right? That must have been it. Because in the morning it started dumping, right? But but I was overall bullish on the market, right? And it started dumping in the morning. So when that happens, it usually go against the sentiment because they're trying to get better orders, right? They're trying to get lower, better fills, right? So I was able to trade that because I knew it was going to be bullish based off of the FOMC. Why did I know it was going to be bullish? Is because we were like 95% chance that it was going to be a 25 basis point cut. When they cut the rates, that's good for the stock market generally because it allows more borrowing, right? The lower the rates, the more people can borrow, so the more people invest in the stock market, right? So if it's got a 95% chance that it's going to cut the rates and it's already predicted in, right? Then people already know it's going to go up, right? The only case that does something different is that 5% chance that it doesn't do that, right? So we take that risk, 95% chance that we're right, and it's already dumping down, which is against what we want. So we get really awesome entries, right? So we were able to long that and get a great trade. You know what I'm saying? Great Maven YouTube this morning. Yeah, Trader Nick is really, really smart, man. He's been doing this for a long time, and he trades differently than majority of the gurus, right? Where he actually trades with proper trading skill. You know what I mean? Bling, bling, bling. Yeah, that was last time. What do you think of USD CAD? Let's look at it. It's been a long time. I do have a personal connection to USD CAD because I am Canadian. It sounds weird to say I'm Canadian. It sounds weird.
Bling, bling, bling.
Why is that weird to say? Okay, so this is the thing, right? When you're looking at currency pairs, like last year we lost that, so we need to watch for the next 3 months to see if this comes down. Overall, it looks like it's coming down. These last months are, we've what? Actually, it's a bit tricky because it's kind of right on the line.
The market just hits my SL and rallies.
I would assume this is going to come back down here in the next couple months, because it looks like it's rejecting off of there to me. And then we'll break it down even further. Weekly failed to gain, so we're going to be going down for these new lows, right? That's probably going to cause the next month to close bearishly, right? Which will mean that if it closes bearishly, it loses that level, which means it's going to come back down to this level here, right? This level right here, okay? And if it comes back down to that level on the month, then then that means that most likely the next couple months, it might stay around here. So most likely the year is going to look pretty bad. And then if the year looks pretty bad, then it's going for new lows, right? The Canadian economy is getting fucking murked, okay? I would be a bear on this overall for a long-term play. Mind you, I'm not going to trade it because I don't trade Forex. But what I am going to do is keep getting paid in US dollars because then my income goes up. If I got paid in Canadian pesos, I get poorer and poorer with each paycheck. Bro, stop loss just as Did I ever trade currency? I used to, but I was not as good at it. The Canadian pesos, yes, sir. Am I long on the NASDAQ? We are long on the NASDAQ as of the level I showed you at the start of the stream. Right. As of this level here. Right. That's the ideal level to get long. I was waiting for it, but I didn't want to miss the move, so we took a little bit of a front run instead. I mean, like, ideally, I think this is this looks like it's gonna come up, right? Retest that level, and then Powell's gonna say some shit, and it might bring it down. You know what I mean? That's if I had to just base off of the what the chart looks like right now, that's what it looks like to me, and then it'll come back down here to 24,860. As for gold, gold is fucking booming like usual, right? Like, this is gold's just going to keep going up. Gold just keeps going up, right? That's really bullish closes, more or less, right? It might come down a bit here too again, but gold is a great buy long term. We hold some gold. We hold a substantial amount of gold now. Actually, I'm invested in Bitcoin, gold, and the NASDAQ, and cash. Right. Gold is moving wild. Israel gonna start some shit. Powell could cause a bullish reaction. Sure, it could. I don't know. I don't know enough about it to be able to predict something like that. I was able to predict the FOMC because of what I explained, right? Because I know the simple things of, hey, cutting rates is good for the stock market, okay? It's good for the economy because it stimulates buying and borrowing, right? So if Powell comes on and he just double confirms that stuff, it's going to go higher, right? Was the longest time I ever held a trade, like 3 years. You got a USD CAD, can't trust Powell. I mean, if you're trading USD CAD on a day trading level, I would advise against that. I wouldn't be trading currencies on a daily sort of level, but they're super volatile and choppy, and they're choppy, right? Currencies. How you trade? We might chat on Discord later. After find out. Pause. I have no idea what that means, bro. Half of y'all's English fucking just makes no sense, bro. You got home today? Yeah, Tuesdays I'm at home for the podcast. I need to be in the office for Tuesdays at a very minimum. So it has to be at least once a week because of the podcast, and I do record some stuff for Maven as well, right? So this is my opportunity to have like proper Wi-Fi to make sure everything's good, do my laundry, feed my cat, whatever, right? I do come home a couple days. I'll be honest with that. Like Tuesdays, or Monday. I guess Monday night I'm home, and then Tuesday I'm home all day basically, and then usually I'll head out Tuesday night or something. But I might stay home again tonight. I think because I'm waiting for a package, and then I'll head out again. Clean my Jeep. It is clean. As clean as it'll ever get. That's a Jeep, bro. It's like telling me to clean the sand out of Africa. It's a Jeep, bro. It's got sand in it. It's Africa. It's got sand in it. You know what I mean? You can't. A Jeep is sand. Jeep and sand, Jeep and mud, they're synonymous. You can't have a clean Jeep. If you do, you got a vagina. Can we go hunting together? If you come here, yeah. A rejection off that, maybe. Let's see where this 30 closes. That would be a nice 30 close, even there, right? If it'd be a bit higher, it would be really awesome, right? Be ready to long the Nasdaq. I mean, we're already long on the Nasdaq, so you should have been ready hours ago to long the Nasdaq. If this 15 fails, it might go down to the bottom side of that level and then up. Talking about the interior, it's clean. That's as clean as a Jeep's gonna get, bro. Especially when you have your entire house in it. Like there's no chance that's gonna be more organized. That is the most organized you can be. Because you only got so much space. So if you start adding organizational shit, it just ruins all the space. And it takes too much time unloading.
Can future NQ go up and Forex NQ go down?
Can future? No, that makes no sense. Futures NQ go up and Forex go down. No, it's the same thing. The CFD contract is based off of the CME. Cleanest Jeep in the world, bro. Like generally my house is fucking immaculate. Like I'll show you here. Like this is pretty much the dirtiest my house gets. I'll show you. This is pretty much the dirtiest it gets. Right? I got the clothes there that I just brought in, right? That's the living room. This is like the dirtiest it gets. You know what I mean? Because I'm not home to clean it. Usually I clean throughout the day while like trades are going on or whatever. I heard you profit 1 million in a month. It was fake, bro. It was fake. I did it I did it kind of. Okay, so that thing was, the whole point of that was to show you how, like, I mean, you can just watch the videos on my YouTube channel, right? Do I live alone? Yes. 3-bedroom house in the mountains. Alone.
Powell speaks in 4 minutes.
No, he doesn't. He speaks in... What time zone do I got on here? This is the right time zone, right? Boom, boom. Yeah, no. Right? Reset. Oh, I got the wrong time zone. Oh, he speaks in 4 minutes. Why is the time zone wrong? Fucking hell. Central. There you go. Yeah, he does speak in 4 minutes. Let's see. Well, I guess maybe we're gonna be trading this then, hey? We might be trading it. It might, this might not be wise then, actually. Speak the economic outlook. The thing is, it's a speech, right? Like, it's not going to be an instant news thing, is it? I'm pretty sure. It's not going to be like a giant spike, I'm pretty sure.
Get the fundamental guide here now.
Yeah, right?
U.S. Senator John Pastori.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't be in this, actually. Maybe we shouldn't be in this. I don't want to blow my funded.
Order filled.
We're going to play it safe. Where's that 30 code? I don't want to blow the funded account. We have to be careful. What the fuck have we started? It'll cause a spike at first. Yeah, I don't want to blow the funded. What I'll do is I'll buy if it goes against. There's 24,870.
Traded on the Million Maven account.
Let's do this. Buy down here. If in case it does drop down, we'll do this. Right? Yeah. Okay. Let's just play it safe. I don't want to blow that funded just in case. I don't expect a giant spike here once he goes on. It should just cause more volatility is all. But let's see. We'll stream this for... Yeah, we got time. We got time. My next meeting got canceled.
Gold will kaboom.
Remember, we should play it safe. Remember, we could play it safe. Yeah. Yeah. It is causing some volatility here. A little bit of spike. Just got a couple different plans of what's going on, right? We're playing ultra low risk on the funded, and then the personal and the challenge account we can have a little bit higher risk. Relatively happy with where we're positioned right now. Everyone's just going nuts here. Okay, who's this? Speaks on the economic outlook. That's not Powell. Yeah, well, did you see it kind of spiked there right at the minute, but like nothing happened. See, this is the thing with speeches, is like we don't know the exact time they're gonna speak. Tomorrow's another day. I mean, no, it's like I don't expect this to do anything insane, right? Like this is unless he says something stupid, right? So like at any day you can get crazy spikes. So I don't think this is anything so significant that it's going to be important. But yeah, so like I said, that 15 failed, so it's probably going to shoot for the new low, right?
Nothing is gonna happen.
Yeah, probably not. It's probably going to do exactly what it normally does. This is the level that we were looking at yesterday, right? That we wanted to retest, right? I'd love to know when he actually goes on. Powell's expected to speak soon. Thank you. Look at that chat going nuts. 28K people watching on that right now. Gold melting right now. You tripping, dude. I love how like people watch the 1 minute candle and then get like panicked, right? Like that's nothing. Like what I tell you, gold's gonna come down probably, right? There's a good level here, right? They also, if you look, you can see, hey, failure to gain here, so it must target the next low. So they're attempting to buy this up now. If they fail to lose that level, gold's going to these new highs. Okay. Nasdaq coming up too now. Speeches are annoying, right? Because you never know what's going to happen, right? There's no prediction. I suppose what you could do is you could just predict based off of like the previous red folder newses, right? And we've already determined that, hey, the stock market is expected to have some sort of pullback, right? At some point, we just don't know when, right? So it could be today, but we're going to play the chart no matter what, right? Because there's no point to be a bear yet, right? And overall, even if something bearish comes in, there's still orders resting at these significant levels, right? There's still orders resting in these zones.
Powell is pooping.
He's speaking now. It freeze. The guy, it froze. Sell all your shares. And he was in tight range the whole day. Yeah, true. Yeah. It's likely that people were just waiting for these speeches, right? Rejected here, right? Where's our pal? They're always almost late. They're almost always late. Should we do a giveaway? Do a giveaway real quick while we're waiting. Powell. I don't know if I spelled that right. Spell it wrong? I think it's got 2 L's or something. Yeah, I'll do Powell with 2 L's. 2 L's. For a Maven 5K 1 step. Just pretty much doing exactly what I said so far. You got a failure here. Should shoot for that new high. Right. It's frozen, bro. That's crazy. Everyone left. Is he live now? There he is.
At our FOMC meeting last week. GDP rose at a pace of about 1.5% in the first half of this year, down from 2.5% last year. The moderation in growth largely reflects a slowdown in consumer spending. Activity in the housing sector remains weak.
Okay,
Business investment in equipment and intangibles has picked up from last year's pace, largely reflecting.
Hopefully you guys can hear that, yeah?
As noted in the September Beige Book.
Yeah, Kimoniet GT. Kimoniet G. I don't know. You want a Maven 5K one step? Open up a ticket in Maven's Discord.
To say that uncertainty is weighing on their outlook. Measures of consumer and business sentiment declined sharply in the spring. They have down in both the supply.
He's just reading the economic events basically.
Challenge added an average of just 29,000 per month over the past 3 months. The recent pace of job creation appears to be running below what we call the break-even rate. That is the rate needed to hold the unemployment rate constant. But a number of other labor market indicators remain broadly stable. For example, the ratio of job openings to unemployment remains near 1, and multiple measures of job openings have been moving roughly sideways, not down, as have initial claims for unemployment insurance. Inflation, meanwhile, has eased significantly from its highs of 2022, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer-run goal. The latest available data indicate that total PCE prices rose, that's personal consumption expenditure prices, that's the inflation measure that we follow most closely, rose 2.7% over the 12 months ending in August, up from 2.3% in August 2024.
We can just watch and see what happens based off of what he says, eh?
Energy categories, core PCE prices rose.
You guys can hear him, yeah?
9% last month, also higher than a year ago.
Yeah, the news doesn't matter.
Goods prices, after falling last year,
How does that algo deal with Powell's speeches?
Inflation. Incoming data and surveys suggest that those price increases largely reflect higher tariffs rather than broader price.
Yeah, all he's doing is breaking down the red folder news events,
including for housing services. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have moved up on balance over the course of this year on news about tariffs. Beyond the next year or so, however, most measures of longer-term inflation expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation goal. The overall economic effects of the significant changes in trade, immigration, fiscal, and regulatory policy remain to be seen. A reasonable base case is that the tariff-related effects on inflation will be relatively short-lived, a one-time shift in the price level. Now, a one-time increase does not mean all at once. Tariff increases will likely take some time to work their way through supply chains. As a result, this one-time increase in the price level will likely be spread over several quarters and show up as somewhat higher inflation during that period. But uncertainty around the path of inflation
15 minutes solid
high.
close.
We will carefully assess and manage the risk of higher and more persistent inflation. We'll make sure that this one-time increase in prices does not become an ongoing inflation problem. Turning to monetary policy, near-term risks to inflation are tilted to the upside, and risks to employment are tilted to the downside. A challenging situation. Two-sided risks.
See, when they speak, it doesn't really mean anything, see?
If we ease too aggressively, we could leave the inflation job unfinished and need to reverse course later to fully restore 2% inflation. If we maintain restrictive policy too long, the labor market could soften unnecessarily. When our goals are in tension like this, our framework has long called for us to balance.
You can trade on Maven now. It's only 2 minutes.
The increased downside risks to employment have shifted the balance of risks to achieving our goals.
His word has already been calculated, basically, unless he says something insane,
toward a more
right?
neutral policy
Like, unless he does something dumb.
lowering the target range for the federal funds rate by 25 basis points to 4 to 4.25%. This policy stance, which I personally see as still modestly restrictive, leaves us well positioned to respond to potential economic developments. Our policy is not on a preset course. We will continue to determine the appropriate stance based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment and bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans, and we understand that our actions affect communities, families, and
Trump
businesses
Powell? No.
across the country. So thank you again for having me here.
He was thinking of
very
stepping
much
down
look
or something.
forward to our discussion. Thanks.
Was that literally it, eh? What a great speech. What a great speech, huh? Oh, they're going to have a discussion now, okay?
He did not say anything important, XD.
Nope, exactly. Nothing important, bro. Because everything's already been said through the
Mr.
red
Chair.
folder events.
Thank you for those opening remarks and reminding us just how tremendously the world has changed and evolved since you were last here in 2019. President of the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, Susan Collins, is also here with us today. And President Collins, we have had the opportunity many times to discuss with you the conditions in this Fed region, of which Rhode Island is part of the Boston region. So, Mr. Chairman, I would ask you to think about your comments reflecting on the importance, what you have said, the importance
What
of
is the name of this
deeply
indicator that draws the line?
understanding local labor markets.
Polytrends.
And I'm wondering
$250
if in your
a month.
deliberations leading up to the most recent FOMC meeting, whether there was anything particularly distinctive
Yeah, you
in
didn't
what
say
you
anything.
saw
Yeah.
coming out of
Well,
the Boston
obviously,
Beige
right?
Book.
They never do.
Let me say a word about
All
the
it can
beige
do
book.
is
So
cause a
there are
little bit of
12 reserve
volatility.
banks, as you know, around the country.
It's never
Each of
important,
them has
right?
deep
You already
ties
know
not
what's
just
going to
business
happen.
Community, but medical community, educational community, nonprofits, and each FOMC cycle.
The only thing I
thing
changed for my strategy here was I
dive
closed
and
out this
collect lots
position
and lots
just
of
in case there was a
information about the
spike.
economy. And so,
Because
that-
you only have
that
so much
information
drawdown,
gets
right?
collated and put into what we call the beige book because it's beige.
I'll re-add if it comes down.
You know? We're not that original. And so we get that a couple weeks before each FOMC meeting. And I have to say, I don't know of any source of sort of qualitative
my
information
cat
about
wants
the
in.
economy that even approaches this. It's just a lot of conversations with a lot of people, and I personally find it very useful. Sometimes you look at that book and you see significant regional differences, and this is not one of those times. So, for example, the Boston Fed piece in the last beige book talked about lots of spending on AI. Well, guess what? That was pretty common across 8 or 9 of the districts. So I would say nothing really jumped out from the Boston piece. What you saw was all around the country, you saw pretty modest growth, wage and price inflation at modest to moderate levels, the economy growing, but
Better
not
safe
fast.
than sorry, yeah.
And
I mean, yeah.
uncertainty, significant uncertainty about federal public policy is kind of weighing on investments and the decisions about investment and hiring, except in the area of the AI build-out, which is just going really strong pretty much in many parts of the country.
So nothing distinctive from the Boston region that would inform your future decision-making, looking at the setting of monetary policy?
What I saw from Boston was quite similar and overlapping with a number of other districts. Again, sometimes that's the case where
What are you doing in the
things
house?
are pretty much of a piece. Sometimes different regions.
So I've said this many times across pretty much all social platforms that Tuesdays I'm home for the podcast.
Right now, it's sort of It's
like
much more the same around the country.
like
I'd say.
if you remember, I do have a full-time job
described a few moments
running
ago
Maven,
about
you
the
know what I
dual
mean?
mandate
And then I
of the Fed.
also have to make the
And
content, which is
we talk
sometimes
about
difficult to upload without
these
proper Wi-Fi,
conditions
right?
that wax and wane over time. What signals will you be
And
looking
then the homeless
for,
part is
in
like the
run-up
least
to
significant thing
next
of this
FOMC
challenge. It's just for the
meeting, which
kicks,
is,
right?
in
The
roughly
significant
30
part of the
days.
challenge is, can you live
We have
off
two
of trading
goals,
with a
as
small
you
account
mentioned,
without
maximum
having
employment and
side
price
income?
stability, and they're
That's what the
equal
challenge
goals
actually
under the
is,
law. So
right?
almost all
So
the
I could
time,
still be at home every day if I
those-
wanted to be.
they
I'm just
work
trying to make it
together.
as
They complement
realistic
one
as
another. So, for
possible,
example, when
right?
the economy's weak,
It would still be
What
the
is the
same
secret
challenge if I
behind the
lived
name
out of my
Maven?
house,
low,
right?
that it calls
Because in
for
theory,
stimulus from us.
you could just
And
get
when the
you
economy's
could get a
really
cheap
strong, the
apartment
labor market is
and then
tight,
spend
that's
nothing
when
in rent,
inflation will
basically,
be
right? You
moving
could
up,
do
and
that.
so policy might be a little bit tighter. That's almost always the case. Right now is
Like the amount that I spend on my car per month is probably the same as a cheap apartment because of gas.
Inflation to the upside. Now we only have one tool, which is monetary policy, really interest rates, and really it's calling for different.
What's the
answers.
secret
So
behind the name
for a
Maven? I
long time,
googled
we
it.
have a document
I just
called the
googled
Statement on
synonyms
Goals
for
of Monetary
connoisseur.
Policy Strategy.
That's
We
it.
call it the consensus statement to save time. That says for a long time it's said that that when the two goals are in tension, we'll look at how far each one is from its goal and the time that it's expected to take to get back to that goal. And so we balance the two goals. So what we've done all year this year is we've had our policy rate has been tight because inflation has been above our target, but the labor market was very solid. Now, over the last really 4 months, really over the summer, the labor market has softened, payroll jobs have dropped a lot, so we can't really say that anymore. And I think what that told us is that stance of really having a tight focus on inflation really needs to moderate toward a more balanced approach. And so that's why we took the action we took at our last meeting. And as we go to our next meeting, to your question, we'll be asking ourselves, we'll be looking at the data very carefully, labor market data, growth data, inflation data, all of the vast quantities of data that we get, and asking ourselves,
Order
what's
filled.
the right,
I'm gonna fill
is our
that
policy
there.
in the
I'm gonna
right
re-enter
place?
that trade.
And if not, we move it there.
Some may wonder about the frothiness of the markets reaching record heights and also record valuations. How does the Fed think about that in the equation?
Financial markets. So we monitor financial markets very carefully. Our policy works through financial conditions.
We got to see this
spread
hourly
spreads
close
and
to make
interest
sure
rate
it gains.
levels and equity prices in the aggregate that can affect.
Did the
spending,
homeless
for
challenge
example.
over? No, we're
We
doing
look at
2
all
months
that,
of it.
But really, our focus is on our two goals, and that is maximum employment and price stability. And when we see one of them weakening, we're going to respond appropriately with our tools. And in this case, that
I just have to stop at home
reducing the federal funds
sometimes.
rate by 25 basis
Like,
points.
again, I literally just
we'll see
said
what the
this.
future
I have
brings, but
extremely
that's what we
busy
do.
schedule.
We look
Right?
carefully.
I
at
have a
financial
lot of
conditions,
things to
more
do.
from a perspective
There is no
of
homeless person.
financial
There is no
stability. So
trader that has
we
to do
look-
the amount of things I have
we
to
see that
do.
the banks are
Right?
well capitalized.
I have 4
Actually,
full-time
Indian
jobs.
households are in good shape financially. I know people at the bottom. And
I have to
incomes
stop
are
at home
under
to do
pressure.
things occasionally.
No question about that. But it's not a time of elevated financial
Doesn't
stability
make a
risks.
difference that the survival challenge is still
The federal
surviving,
funds rate really
right?
governs consumer credit, but not so as it pertains to mortgage rates, correct?
That's right.
And let's
We
talk
get
about
the-
how the
me get this
average
filled, bro.
consumer is
Does
going
DMC gives you
to
good entry?
see any
If you're close at a
difference
certain level, then
in
it
the
retrace takes you out
intervening
TA.
months relative to in easing of
Yeah,
interest
DMC
rates
gives you the
and
best
the
entries.
ability and maybe even more confidence to spend.
So we don't set mortgage rates, but when we change
That's
the
really
federal funds
annoying that
rate,
they
it
keep
does-
doing that.
It will affect the mortgage rates and also all other consumer borrowing rates. Really, all interest rates that are on a floating basis will move a little bit or even a lot if they're short term, based on our moves. So the people will feel that over time. Also, it's not just these days. The market is pricing in the next 6 months what's going to happen to rates. So this is something that wasn't really the case, 50 years ago. Now markets listen to us and follow, and they make an estimation of where they think rates are going. And so
Why
they'll
vape?
price things in. And
It's a
so,
fidget. Why not?
longer term rates will move because of what the market
Why
expects,
overtrade?
market participants expect us to do. So you'll begin to see, and you're already seeing,
You get stressed
changes
out? No.
in rates long before we make the
I
decision.
have pretty good stress
It can
control.
often be already, priced in.
Is it fair to say that the Fed and the markets really have a higher tolerance for risk today, more so than perhaps before the pandemic?
I think if you look at some prices, then they're elevated relative to historical levels. There were times before the pandemic when you had, it happens periodically.
I'm sure you should talk to support. I guarantee you hit
And we do
drawdown.
monitor that, but we're not targeting
There's
any
no
level
tech
of
issues right now.
prices for particular financial assets.
There's never been
We
tech
don't have a
issues.
view
People
that
just
we
don't
know what
understand
the
how
right price
drawdown works.
of any particular financial asset is. We do look at overall financial conditions, and we ask ourselves whether our policies are affecting
see
financial
gold.
conditions in a way that is
Yeah,
what
see, I
we're
told
trying
you.
to achieve.
It would go for the new high, right?
But you're right. It by many measures, for example, equity.
Like it just
prices
always
are
does what I say.
Fairly highly valued.
Let's segue to the topic of AI. And
So now you have to watch
largely
this close to
AI
see
stocks
if it's going to
and
range
periphery
again,
stocks,
right?
really driving the markets in many ways. Let's talk
But
a
then
little
you're getting
bit
the
about
hourly close
the
as well.
great unknown
Failure on that.
of AI.
So probably going to come
and
here.
If we think about various ages, our industrial
Back up.
ages, whether it be steam to electricity to the information age, and now to the age of AI.
We need the 1 hour
Would
to
you
not.
consider this to
We need the
be
1 hour to gain this.
the
Yeah.
most disruptive force
1 minute
ever
left
in
on the
modern
hour.
American history?
I think it's way too early to say that. I wouldn't go that far.
You want to learn DMC?
I would say
It's on my YouTube
clearly
channel.
generative AI has all the earmarks.
You got ADHD. Everyone does.
Emerging technology that could be very important in our economy and in our society. But it's very early to be, to be making that kind of bold statement. So, what we're seeing is companies and institutions like the
You
Fed.
swear you're away from the daily drawdown. You're not. You're not.
To experiment with
Go talk
what
to
they
support.
can, how this,
I'm not support, so don't talk to me.
new set of
I
tools
can't
can
do
be
anything
used
for you.
in our operations. And it's very early days on that. And, I think we have to wait and see. That's a good thing. I know many of the large financial institutions and
Do you have
other
ADHD?
central banks, and
No,
we are
I don't know. Everyone
asking
does.
ourselves, how can this help us do our jobs better? And
What is
I think it's going to be
ADHD?
a period of experimentation over a period of years.
Tell me what ADHD is, and I'll tell you if I have
Hunter,
it.
The history
which
is
channel are you
always that
using to
there's
get
a
this
lot
new
of
speaking?
fear that
YouTube.
technological innovation will
just listening on
eliminate
YouTube.
jobs. What has tended to happen in history over time is that it just raises productivity and creates
Targets
new
for
jobs
longs, new highs.
to replace the old jobs. And that happens. And sometimes it can take a long time, but ultimately,
I don't really have
that has been
targets
the
or
pattern
stop
for the last
losses. I
couple
go
of
based
hundred
off of what the
years.
market tells me is happening.
Is this time going to be different? I just don't think we know yet. I don't think anybody knows.
What's going on?
Are a labor
Welcome to
market
the channel, bro.
futurist,
You're new.
also a historian, and the concept of AI.
Okay, what is
and
ADHD? I'm waiting.
humans in the
What is
loop,
ADHD? I'll tell you.
very
I'll tell you if I have
profound
it.
Impact on the labor force.
Here's the hour close.
What are your thoughts about
It's all right,
specifically agentic AI as a differentiator from generative AI? And how will the Fed be looking at the impacts of the workforce, the labor participation rate, given the unknown of what could happen with displacement around AI tools? at all ends of
ADHD
the
primarily
spectrum?
causes issues with attention, hyperactivity, and
Our
impulse,
tools work
impacting a
on
person's
demand,
ability to manage
basically.
daily tasks,
Lower
relationships, and
interest rates, higher
emotional
interest rates, they
regulation.
work on demand.
Okay, so how
When
is
there are
that
structural
something
changes in the
that
economy,
everyone does? How
there's
is that
not a lot
something that
an
not
interest
everyone
rate
has?
change can
You know what I'm
do for
saying?
that. And so
So
talking
everyone,
about distributional issues,
like, tell me
labor
what's
force
different about
participation,
that from every
retraining,
person
or any of
ever.
the things that come to mind in connection with those questions. That's really going to be something for legislators. and the
Impulsive
private sector.
decisions.
We-
That's
of
what I'm
course,
saying is
we
at
have
what point are you
many
defined as
labor
ADHD?
economists, and a good portion of them are.
Of course, there's
studying what
times
the
that
potential
I
effects
don't
of,
have great attention.
of AI
know?
on the labor force, and many
At times
great
I'm
economists
hyper,
around
at
the
times
country
I'm
and around the
impulsive,
world
right?
are publishing.
How is that
on
different from everyone in the
now.
world?
And it's
ADHD is
really
is
too
garbage.
early
It's a
to
myth.
say. I
Doesn't
think
exist.
I think you can say that some jobs are going to be phased out. Some jobs are going to evolve, and people are going to be further trained and that sort of thing, and be able to keep a job like that.
Think NQ
And there'll be
switch
new
bearish?
jobs that come.
No reason
and
to believe
how will
that
that
yet.
balance work out, and what will be the time? Just quite hard to say.
But how does that
Order-filled.
factor into the deliberations?
Finally got that.
On a near-term basis? things are moving so quickly, and really the observation and the argument that artificial intelligence
Yeah,
isn't
ideally we
just
rally off this
impacting
now.
those entry-level jobs.
Did
and
this
those,
other one get filled yet?
quasi-unskilled jobs, but
Still no
really
on that one, but
tentacles reaching into highly skilled professions, whether it be finance, whether it be communications and media, whether it be healthcare, whether it be law, finance. So all ends of the spectrum, highly educated individuals down to
you vape, that's why I asked about ADHD.
more
I don't know.
automated, more easily automated tasks.
I'm just
Sort
saying,
a
like,
really interesting problem for
ADHD
those of
isn't
you that are
anything.
studying labor market economics.
You know what I'm saying?
How do you approach that?
Some people can study for hours. I can't.
A lot of what
Well,
we're
okay,
doing
there you go. And nobody
with our
can.
time
I don't
is
think
trying to
anyone can.
understand
Some people have
the
stronger
current
willpower
position
than
of
you.
the economy, what's actually going on
So I'd
in the
argue that
economy today.
some people are willing to
So,
try harder than you,
Part of that is
right? I think nobody
hiring
can
rate
study
has
for
really
hours
dropped.
easily. I think that's a
Job
boring
creation has
thing.
dropped
People
very
don't like
sharply.
doing hard
So
things.
what are the
So does
factors here?
ADHD mean you're lazy?
So I mentioned earlier, I think, part of it
Maybe
just
that's what
is
it
there's
means.
a lot of
Maybe it
uncertainty
means you
about
have
the
no
direction of
willpower, you've
public
never done
policy,
anything
and
difficult in
so
your life,
companies are
so you
holding
sit there
off.
and you're distracted all the
They're
time
not
because you never
hiring.
practice paying attention.
And when you don't hire through attrition, your labor force shrinks and you save money.
Maybe that's
that
what it
way.
is.
That may be
You
a
have
way of
poor
passing on
skills
tariff
in
costs,
attention
maybe something
because
like
you
that.
never
So
practiced it.
that's happening. Lots of questions around whether AI is a major factor associated with the relatively low hiring rate for people just graduating from school and just entering the labor market. And, people are doing studies on that, and I looked at one
Doing all right,
from
bro.
Stanford, another from the
Okay, that
New
should
York
have filled
Fed
the other order
in the
then,
last
huh?
week. And
Yeah, that
the
one's filled.
sense of it was, we think we can find some evidence that generative AI is having some, it's one of the reasons here.
Okay,
but
hopefully they rally
we
there
can't
now.
really say it's the main reason. Can't really say it's the main reason.
Any levels here?
And, we
that's
have
the
our
level that's gotta
Jackson Hole
rally off of.
conference every year in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and we had some great labor economists, and one of the big debates was what's going on with AI, and there was a professor from, I want to say, Columbia, who just basically said, there's no evidence that this is acting any differently than other. Her view was not acting any differently from other technological, movements, waves, and so I think she would be more at the end of an optimist, a techno-optimist. We've all,
That hourly close was fine by me, so you know what I mean.
And but I
So
just
I'm still comfortable sitting in that.
We're going to see how this evolves. And again,
This is an order I had filled from this morning still.
Labor force participation.
So that order's been sitting all
declines
day.
in a way that creates, social difficulties. That's going to be something that legislators and the
You
private
think you can
sector
work
will
and
have
focus
to
without
address.
nicotine? Of course.
We just don't know that yet, though.
Easily.
Over the weekend, I read where you had been discussing.
I don't think
just
nicotine's
picking up
addictive.
on what you said about Gen Z.
I've come on and off.
college
It's the same as
graduates
caffeine.
and
I can have tons of caffeine in a day and then not
disruptions
have any
in
caffeine the
trying
next
to
day.
find jobs. So Gen
The same.
Z would be those born between 1997 and 2012, roughly ages 13 to 28. What are your thoughts on
For me, the only thing that I'm doing
enrollment?
with this
We'll
is
talk
I'm
a little bit
fidgeting.
about labor disruption in just a minute, and Jackson
Since
Hole.
trade
I know
since
that's a
trading
favorite
is
of yours, but,
just a chill sort of
a
sport,
lot of the
right?
individuals in this room today may
It
have
allows me to
family
do
members
something
that
while
fall
I'm kind of
squarely
hanging
in
out.
that,
So I'm hanging out with you guys, right?
13 to
So I'll bring a
28
vape to like a
category. What would
party
you
or
say
something
about
because I
that?
don't drink or anything, right? So this is like
Again,
I'm hanging out,
we all
That's what
see
it
the
is to
data
me.
that
It's something
just
to
gotten
keep in your
tough
hand
for,
and it keeps you kind of social, I
people
suppose.
just entering the labor force to be hired. But remember,
If I'm doing
the
something, I
overall
won't ever have a
national
vape.
aggregate hiring rate is at very, very low level.
How many contracts
The
I
layoff
use?
rate
The
is
minimum.
also at a very, very low. You're in a low
One
fire,
micro.
low hire economy, and it feels like companies are they've kind of stopped hiring or slowed down their hiring because they want to see how this all shakes out. We're having very important changes to economic policy in the United States, and companies and people are wondering how's that going to work out. So I think that's part of it. The other thing I would add, though, is there's a lot of good scholarship around.
There's no hard
technological
TP.
innovation.
Learn
and
DMC, you'll
inequality,
understand
if you
how
will.
to choose
And
your TP.
the sense of
Just
it
shoot
is
for new
really that
new
if
highs.
schools
What
and
about a fidget
society,
spinner? That's gay.
give students graduating the skills
There's
and
no taste
aptitudes
to a
they
fidget
need
spinner.
to
I don't know.
benefit from evolving
How
technology.
many trades a day?
You can have
It doesn't.
declining
I have no
inequality
set
over time,
number.
and that's what the United States had for
Changes
many,
every
many
day.
years.
Zero
Up until
to
about 1970,
0 to 5.
when
I suppose.
U.S. educational attainment
You
kind of
don't drink. Yeah,
plateaued,
I don't drink.
and inequality takes off. So it's really down to having the skills. So kids who come out of school
Casual
today
drinking is really horrible
with
for
technological
your
skills
for your
and
brain.
can work with this new technology, they're probably going to be fine. They're going to be great. If you don't have those skills, though, you're increasingly left with less attractive employment options. So
Said it was going to happen,
particularly
eh?
the digital
Rejection
divide
here.
and thinking about
They're going to buy up here, and
where-
then hopefully
where
come
the
up here,
United
right?
States
It's
really
pretty
has
hard to predict
paced
that
among
that far,
countries
but
throughout the world. Particularly, that was a subject that you initiated at
yeah, I
Jackson
drink
Hole
non-alcoholic.
back in
Yeah,
August.
I quit
What are your
drinking when I
thoughts
turned 30. Yeah,
on how that
about
is
about a year,
likely to
a year
really
and some
change
ago.
the way we look at
Yeah.
technology as a force for productivity and advancement.
I mean, technology has been raising incomes and productivity for.
So if I'm going out to like party or
hundred
something, I'll
years
take a
since
microdose of
industrial
mushrooms and then
revolution.
bring a
It's been
vape, and
an
I'll bring
amazing
some
thing for
ginseng.
the
Right,
quality of human
ginseng is
life,
good for
and
energy.
There's no reason why that has to change. The United States-
Mushrooms make me
the United
feel
States
like a
was the
little
first
silly and
country to have
goofy,
gender
right? And then the
blind,
vape allows me to have
secondary
something in my hand
education.
that I can be like, oh,
And
this
if you go back,
is a
you'll
good
see
flavor here.
that,
Try this, right?
there's
And it's a
great book
social
on this,
thing, right?
But just basically, the U.S. had fast technological innovation for a century, and also declining inequality because people were coming out and their educational capability, the capabilities they took out of the
You don't
educational
need.
system. gave them the ability to
I'm a
benefit
worse
from all this
person.
technology. So
I have
and
less fun,
that's
and
really
I'm
the
less
key,
I'm less
because
fun to be around if I
technology,
drink.
What
so.
it does is it makes us more productive. I used to.
If I were to drink,
one
it'd be
summer,
alone in
I
my house.
worked
You know
on
what I mean?
a project that was
And
building
it would be
houses,
just a
and I
sad
basically had
thing.
a
You know what I mean?
shovel,
Like
and
there's
I
no
just dug
there's no
most of the summer.
socialness to it.
And now
I think
that would
I'm
be a
more
Bobcat,
fun
which can
sober.
do
So.
100 times the work, no blisters, no water breaks. It's just much more productive. And you see housing production's gotten, at least it did get for a while, much more productive,
What's up,
not so
boxing?
much lately. But that I think is the story. And while U.S. educational
tea's
attainment,
pretty
college
good.
graduation rates, and things like that,
Tea's better to drink. Yeah,
leveled out.
if you
They're still going up.
if you
The rest of the
you
world
quit in
caught
Europe, no,
on
way before that.
and
A
has
year
really
before
caught
that.
up in
It's been
terms
like a
of
year and a half.
educational attainment. And that really is the key. To your point, your
Rally, yeah, that's
educational
good.
system,
Nice.
Your country is
Get
your
the 5
educational
minute close
system.
back up
Ultimately,
would be nice.
it's the people that come out and what can they do, and a variety of
And
other
then they'll
factors
retest
too,
this.
obviously. But
They'll
I think
retest
that's
this and then come back. probably.
that's a key element. I'm struck by this because this was a major factor at our
Gold.
recent conference, and
Gold
we
where'd the
had a
close
great
go?
conversation about it.
Well, tell us about the book.
Gold might be a bit bearish
Gave
here.
me
Come
a
back
homework
down.
assignment the other day, so I did download it, but I think everyone should
Wait,
follow that
might
lead.
down
All
here.
right. It's a book's called The Race Between Education and Technology. It's by Claudia Golden and Larry Katz,
Something like that,
two
maybe.
Harvard economists, and it basically talks about the race between education and technology. So I recommend that to anybody. It was written in, I want to say, 2005, and they
Why did I
basically
quit drinking?
presented at Jackson Hole. They
Because
presented
it's
an update to the
probably
current
the
day.
absolute
The
worst thing you
findings
can do for your
basically
health.
hold. It's very,
And for your
I'm not
brain?
a PhD economist. I read it 20 years ago.
But you said it still holds very much true
There,
today.
there's a